Find more questions and study at your own pace on our website. The link will be in the description. Let's get started. Question 1. A company runs an e-commerce application on AWS. The application stores data in an Amazon Aurora database. A developer is adding a caching layer to the application. The caching strategy must ensure that the application always uses the most recent value for each data item. Which caching strategy will meet these requirements? Option A. Implement a TTL strategy for every item that is saved in the cache. Option B. Implement a write-through strategy for every item that is created and updated. Option C. Implement a lazy loading strategy for every item that is loaded. Option D. Implement a read-through strategy for every item that is loaded. The answer is option B. In a write-through caching strategy, every time an item is written to the database, it is also written to the cache. This ensures that the cache always contains the most recent value immediately after any write operation. Therefore, any subsequent read operation can fetch the most recent value directly from the cache, ensuring data consistency between the cache and the database. Question 2. A company runs a batch processing application by using AWS Lambda functions and Amazon API Gateway APIs with deployment stages for development, user acceptance testing, and production. A development team needs to configure the APIs in the deployment stages to connect to third-party service endpoints. Which solution will meet this requirement? Option A. Store the third-party service endpoints in Lambda layers that correspond to the stage. Option B. Store the third-party service endpoints in API Gateway stage variables that correspond to the stage. Option C. Encode the third-party service endpoints as query parameters in the API Gateway request URL. Option D. Store the third-party service endpoint for each environment in AWS App Config. The answer is option B. To meet the requirement of configuring APIs to connect to third-party service endpoints in different deployment stages, the best approach is to use API Gateway stage variables. These stage variables allow you to configure different values for each stage without changing the code or redeploying the API, making it easy to manage and maintain the endpoints for each environment. Question 3. A developer needs to deploy an application in 3 AWS regions by using AWS CloudFormation. Each region will use an AWS Elastic Beanstalk environment with an application load balancer. The developer wants to use AWS Certificate Manager to deploy SSL certificates to each ALB. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Create a certificate in ACM in any one of the regions. Import the certificate into the ALB that is in each region. Option B. Create a global certificate in ACM. Update the CloudFormation template to deploy the global certificate to each ALB. Option C. Create a certificate in ACM in each region. Import the certificate into the ALB for each region. Option D. Create a certificate in ACM in the US East 1 region. Update the CloudFormation template to deploy the certificate to each ALB. The answer is option C. AWS Certificate Manager certificates are regional resources, meaning they cannot be used across different AWS regions. To deploy SSL certificates to the application load balancers in each region, a certificate must be created in ACM for each specific region. Then each certificate should be imported into the ALB of the corresponding region to ensure proper SSL/TLS functionality. Question 4. A developer is creating an AWS CloudFormation template to deploy Amazon EC2 instances across multiple AWS accounts. The developer must choose the EC2 instances from a list of approved instance types. How can the developer incorporate the list of approved instance types in the CloudFormation template? Option A. Create a separate CloudFormation template for each EC2 instance type in the list. Option B. In the Resources section of the CloudFormation template, create resources for each EC2 instance type in the list. Option C. In the CloudFormation template, create a separate parameter for each EC2 instance type in the list. Option D. In the CloudFormation template, create a parameter with a list of EC2 instance types as allowed values. The answer is option D. To incorporate a list of approved EC2 instance types in the CloudFormation template, The developer should create a parameter with allowed values that includes the list of approved instance types. This allows users to select from the pre-approved instance types when launching the CloudFormation stack, ensuring compliance and simplifying the template management by restricting the instance types to the predefined list. Question 5. A developer is writing an application which stores data in an Amazon DynamoDB table. The developer wants to query the DynamoDB table by using the partition key and a different sort key value. The developer needs the latest data with all recent write operations. How should the developer write the DynamoDB query? Option A. Add a local secondary index during table creation. Query the LSI by using eventually consistent reads. Option B. Add a local secondary index during table creation. Query the LSI by using strongly consistent reads. Option C. Add a global secondary index during table creation. Query the GSI by using eventually consistent reads. Option D. Add a global secondary index during table creation. Query the GSI by using strongly consistent reads. The answer is option B. To query a DynamoDB table using the same partition key but a different sort key value, a local secondary index should be added during table creation. LSIs allow queries on attributes using the same partition key and an alternative sort key. Strongly consistent reads ensure that the query returns the most up-to-date data, fulfilling the requirement of obtaining the latest data with all recent write operations. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to check out our website where you can find more questions for this exam. The link will be in the description. Thank you for watching and good luck on your exams.